Started here. Let me sit down, get comfortable. Man, I'm all over the place this morning. Okay. Pin this for people on the YouTube side of, well, Twitch side of things, I mean. All right, now we can get started.
No more heroes, it's hero begin. You can't tell nobody but yourself. Nothing less to do.
Travis, it's kill or be killed.
Almost forgot to unmute myself. I was gonna say good afternoon, everybody. Today is the 19th of November, Wednesday. Today we got a lot to talk about. If you're just coming into the stream, don't worry about the dead bodies in the front. Those are two bots who tried coming in uninvited, so we had to shoot them in the streets. Hope you guys all having a great day so far. If not, I hope your day gets better. Before we get into this gaming news and everything, you know, I always want to make sure everybody's doing okay mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever it is that you're dealing with or that you believe in. I hope that you guys are checking in on your friends. I hope your friends are checking in on you. I hope you guys are excited for the holidays, or at the very least, if the holidays are a hard time for you, that they don't end up dragging this season. With all being said, I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to say. If there's anything else to bring up before we get into the gaming news. I think we're just gonna kind of hop right into it. I have been dropping videos and stuff on YouTube for those who have been interested, kind of experimenting with different times and different forms of content. Just because for those who don't know, my content has mainly been based around mental health, fighting games, and the occasional, what's the word for it? Gaming news video. That's kind of like what I'm trying to get into now. That's kind of like what I'm trying to throw a mix of content in. Just because I think the world could use a little more positivity. There's always so much negativity, and there's always so much clickbait content. There's grifters posting about how many different games they hate, how many different studios they hate, how each company is going to die, or how each game is going to die. And I just think that isn't the case. Like, gaming is one of the best states that it's in currently. Granted, it does have its issues, especially with things like microtransactions and corporate greed. But if we're just talking about the quality of games, gaming is in the best spot it ever has been. There's never been an easier time to make games, port games, emulate them, pirate them if that's what you're into. And just, you have so many different small indie studios doing their own thing, making their own games and coming out with their own different projects. And speaking of small indie studios, that actually is going to bring me into our first article of the day. And for those who might be looking at the video later or the VOD, whether it's on Twitch or YouTube, the game I'm talking about right now is Megabonk. And for those who don't know, or for those who didn't see the thumbnail or the posts, Megabonk, the developer behind Megabonk, has withdrawn from the Best Debut Indie Game nomination to the Game Awards. And it's for a pretty good reason. Like at first you might think about this and be like, you know, what the hell is he doing? But when you see why, it's actually pretty humble. I really got to clap it up for him once we actually get through it. But Vetinad says they've previously released games under other studio names. And so for those who don't know, the Vampire Survivors like Megabonk is one of the big indie hits of the year, selling 1 million copies in just 2 weeks and earning a nomination for Best Debut Indie Game in this year's Game Awards nominations. That sort of exposure is a big deal, especially for a small indie release, but developer Vetinad said they're withdrawing from the show for one simple and very understandable reason. Megabonk isn't actually their first game. But they went on to say that it's an honor and a dream for Megabonk to be nominated for TGA, but unfortunately I don't think it qualifies for the category debut indie game. I've made games in the past under different studio names, so Megabonk is not my debut game. I really appreciate the nominations, support, and votes, but it doesn't feel right in the category. You should vote for another one of these amazing debut titles, and they're all amazing games. On one hand, when I first heard about this article, I was kind of conflicted, because on one hand, I'm just thinking to myself, why would they do this, or why would he do this? But on the other hand, when you think about how many different studios and how many different CEOs and CFOs and leaders of these different companies have some of the biggest egos, the most arrogance, they're always nickel and diming us. They're always telling us, you know, we don't want or we don't need, trying to convince us that it's the next best thing. Every game has a battle pass. Every game has some type of season pass. Every game wants you to buy a membership. Everybody wants you to be part of a creator club. It's getting out of hand, but this is a breath of fresh air because this is one of those situations where you realize there is another human being on the other side working at the studio. This humanizes this developers so much and actually gives me a lot of respect for them because not a lot of people would do this. Being completely honest, I wouldn't have done this, but I'm not a developer. I don't have my own studio, but this is really cool to see because again, the level of humility you have to have in order to do something like this. Keep in mind, this game blew up. This isn't the first game they worked on. And just having that sense of selflessness to give somebody else a chance to win who may need that exposure more than they do. And keep in mind, even from a business standpoint, we probably wouldn't have been talking. We would have been talking about Megabonk regardless because it's a nomination, or I'm sorry, a nominee at the Game Awards this year. But now since they've withdrawn for this reason specifically, people who probably didn't have an interest in this game or didn't even know this game existed, they're going to be hearing about it now. They're going to be talking about it a little more because what's the freest form of marketing? Word of mouth. For example, when Hi-Fi Rush dropped, Microsoft did no promotion for that game whatsoever. I'm honestly surprised they even sold as much as they did, but because it was such a good game and so many people passed along positive word of mouth, that game ended up doing really well. Another game, Apex Legends, which was shadow dropped by EA, that game ended up doing so well because not only was it a good game, but people kept talking about it. It was such a breath of fresh air. It did something different, did something unique, or at the very least innovated on what was already there and offered people another alternative to the other shooters and other games out in the market, which is what Megabonk does. It's an extension of the formula from games like Risk of Rain and Vampire Survivors. It takes both those games and smashes them into one game. And that's dope. And just to have the creator out here who could have taken the Splitgate route, coming out wearing a hat saying make Survivor likes great again and make roguelikes great again. For those that don't know, the Splitgate CEO came out that one day on stage wearing the whole make FPS is great again hat. And now that game is not doing so well. But what am I bringing this all this up for? Why am I saying all this? Why am I going on that tangent? It's because it's nice to have the head of a studio not come off as a tone deaf, soulless monster. This is somebody who is very grounded, knows what this game is, knows what this game isn't, and sees the big opportunity in front of him and has enough selflessness and has enough empathy for his other developers and peers to just kind of withdraw and hope somebody else wins and hope somebody else gets that recognition that they were originally going to get, because he's already made his money. He's already gotten everything he needed or wanted from this game, and it did way better than I believe he even originally intended. So this is great. This is why people always say not every game has to cost $500 million, $600 million, $2 billion. I hope games never cost that much to make. But the price of making games is going up and the price of games are going up. So it's nice to see a developer not only come along with a nice little indie game, a breakout indie game at that, because the reviews were just overwhelmingly positive. I know my friends and I have put time and time into this game. It's dope. But let's see what else they've said about it. So numerous replies credit Vedinad, who signed off the message as John Megabonk, for their honesty, but wanted to evoke memories of Dave the Diver, which was nominated for Best Indie Game at the Game Awards in 2023. And Dave the Diver looks and plays like an indie game, but it was developed by Mintrocket, a division of Korean behemoth Nexon. And I guess this is exactly the type of situation they were trying to avoid. That sparked all kinds of interesting conversations about whether facts or vibes should determine whether an indie game is really indie. And in fact, a year later, Dave the Diver game director... bear with me, y'all. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce this name right now. I do apologize. I just try not to butcher people's names out of a sense of respect. Because I would be pissed, I know, if people butcher my name. My name's pretty easy. So I try not to be that person. But I highlighted it in case anybody wanted to see it. But they weighed in to say that as far as he's concerned, it's not an indie game. And here's the tweet itself from the creator Megabonk saying, "I'm withdrawing from the Game Awards. It's an honor and a dream for Megabonk to be nominated for TGA, but unfortunately, I don't think it qualifies for the category of debut indie game. I've made games in the past under different studio names, so Megabonk is not my debut game. And I really appreciate the nomination, support, and votes, but it doesn't feel right in this category. You should vote for another one of the amazing debut titles. They're all amazing games. Thanks again. New Megabonk update coming soon. John Megabonk." But like, what else can you say about this, man? It's nice to see something like this. Let me take a sip of this water real quick before my voice dries out on me. I think it's also fair to acknowledge that debut is something of a flexible term too. Vedinad may have released other games under other studio names. He didn't say which games for the record, nor did he specify prior studio names, but so have other nominees. Dispatch developer Ad Hoc Studios, for example, was founded by veterans at Telltale, and while Claire Obscure Expedition 33 Studio Sandfall Interactive is headed up by ex-Ubisoft people. None of which is meant to suggest any sort of impropriety here, or that other developers should also remove themselves from the category, just that the instability of the game industry can make determining what is and what isn't a debut game a fact survives debate of its own. And that I agree with. That I agree with, because like they said before, these other games, these other studios who've made Dispatch and Expedition 33, they're former developers of different studios and worked on other games before. So it makes sense that Megabonk could be here too. And the fact that Expedition 33 is in here as an indie game is kind of crazy to me, but it is their debut game, so I get it. But in a message posted on X, Game Awards host Jeff Keighley said Vedinad had reached out to clarify that he is an established solo developer who had been presenting himself as a new creator. "We're grateful for his honesty," Keighley wrote, "and as a result, Megabonk will be removed from the category." And it's the tweet itself. Nominee for Best Debut Indie Game reached out to clarify that he is an established solo developer who had been presenting himself as a new creator named Vedinad. Yeah, we literally just read that. But he went on to say that he'll share more about his story when he's ready, but we respect that he didn't want to take recognition away from other debut teams, even though the game itself is outstanding. So that's dope. That's really nice. I really, like I said, like when a developer can just come along and do something nice for once for someone else. It seems like it's harder and harder to ask corporations and studios. And I'm not talking about the developers, the ones who actively work on these games, because a lot of the times they're just people like you and I. They're people who are overworked, underpaid, just like you and I, living paycheck to paycheck. And while some of them are getting, not daily, some of them are getting paid, $70,000, $80,000 a year. You have to keep in mind, a lot of these studios are in these big, giant, major cities. Because if you go to a studio, a lot of them will have gyms, they'll have showers, they'll have basketball courts, they'll have tennis courts, they'll have arcades. They'll have as many different things in there to keep those developers away from home for as long as possible. Showers, food courts, anything that you can do to convince somebody else to not go home. That's one of the reasons why things like office chairs are so comfortable, because they're designed to make you sit for long periods of time and keep working. It's stuff like that I think we forget as consumers, especially in America, where we want things at our convenience at someone else's expense. And that's something we forget. The developers are people too. It's the suits you got to worry about. The people who sold their souls for cash, the people who make all these giant decisions. Because we could have gotten an Expedition 33 at Ubisoft. We could have gotten a Dispatch at a different, organization and things of that nature. We would have more games like these if more suits weren't in charge, because they only care about making money in the bottom dollar. For instance, the new MMO that people who made Elder Scrolls Online, ZeniMax Studios, they were working on a brand new MMO. The MMO genre has been stagnant for more than 10 years. And the suits at Microsoft played it. They really enjoyed it. Phil Spencer himself was like even saying the game was great. And you know what happened? When they came out and played this game, they said it blew them away. It was great. It was wonderful. They canceled that shit. Why? Who knows? They just outright was like, yeah, no, we're canceling the game. I don't know why. But that's what I mean when I say you have to think about this from a developer standpoint, why this is such a big deal. Because like I said before, when these game developers getting paid $70,000, $80,000 a year, they're living in these major cities, they're living from paycheck to paycheck just like you and I are. And a lot of people forget that these are other human beings who are working at these studios who are just as oppressed as you and I. Case in point, look at what's happening with the whole Rockstar, what's the word for it? The Rockstar boycott going on right now, where there's different employees who are fired who are trying to come together for allegedly making a union. They were allegedly fired for discussing forming a union in Discord by Rockstar. We're still getting the specifics of that. We're still trying to get to the bottom of it. But there's tons and tons of studios and people in the industry accused of union busting who have been found to be union busting. Well, being said, we talked about one developer and one corporation one studio who was doing the right thing. Let's talk about a studio that isn't doing the right thing. Because we got some more news about Black Ops 7. If you don't know, just like, how do I want to say this? Just like a masochist would, the suits at Activision have thanked the community for degrading them and giving them a verbal lashing. Because Activision, instead of taking the criticism that people have been giving against Call of Duty, you know, the criticisms about generative AI, the criticisms about the movement, the lack of grounded and slower tactical gameplay, the lack of a grounded story because they got kaiju battles in here for some strange reason. Case in point, this picture here is from the campaign. Instead of looking at all that and trying to release a statement about how they're going to be changing directions, shifting gears over into maybe making it much more of a grounded experience similar to the competition Battlefield 6, which is doing really well this year. Instead, they're just outright thanking us for it. They're just outright saying, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me stop. So let's go on to see what exactly they've said in response, verbatim. So Black Ops 7 has set a new low for the Call of Duty franchise, and in comparison to Battlefield 6 wasn't even needed to describe how much of a catastrophe Activision's magnum opus has become. Despite this train wreck of a launch, Activision is trying to portray a different image. They recently posted on social media congratulating developers behind the game and thanking fans for the great response to quality and depth of the gameplay in Black Ops 7. And no PR is ever going to change the mind of the fans for Black Ops 7. Activision really needs to rethink its future plans for the veteran of the FPS franchise. And I will say this. Gamers, as much flack as we give gamers for being frauds in terms of always paying for microtransactions when they say they don't want them, always saying a studio needs to drop up the price of a game and turning around and buying it anyway, I will say once gamers decide that your game is not cool, they will not buy that shit. They will outright not pay for it. People will avoid it like the plague because rather than being broke, people fear being cringe more than they do fear being broke. And if people decide your game is not cool, they will not play it. They will not touch it. They'll walk away from it. Similar to what happened with Concord. People just thought those hero designs were awful. The game was decent. I enjoyed the game personally. I bought Concord. I actually liked Concord. I think Concord was decent and deserved a better chance. But everybody decided it was uncool. Everybody decided it was a Destiny clone. And you know what? Now the studio shut down. They tried bringing Concord back. And you know what happened again? Sony themselves took it out back, told it to look at the flowers, and put it down again. Just truly unfortunate. So let's see what they said in their statement here for Black Ops 7. They said, congratulations to Treyarch, Raven, and all of the incredible Black Ops 7 developers, and thank you to Call of Duty fans everywhere. Across opening weekend, we've seen a great response to the quality and depth of gameplay in Black Ops 7. This is only the start. Our teams have an incredible year of content and events lined up, beginning with Season 1 and right around the corner. We couldn't be more excited for what's to come in Black Ops 7. And while Activision is thanking fans for the great response, the user review score on Metacritic tells a different story. Black Ops 7 is one of the lowest rated games in the entire Call of Duty series with a 1.7 score based on mostly negative reviews. One of the most complained about aspects of the game is the campaign mode, which shows that Black Ops has become a parody of its own former self. The game has a skivvy toilet boss battle, which is absurd for a game marketed as an authentic military FPS. On top of that, the game is openly using AI slop despite the big budget allocated for Call of Duty games. The result is that the day one Steam player count has dropped by 70% compared to its prequel. So that I just wanted to give you guys more insight on that, their statement, and the fact that it doesn't seem like they're kind of learning from anything here. Hopefully the next Call of Duty game ends up being a lot better, but so far Black Ops 7 is not it. Case in point, take this with a grain of salt, mind you, because this is a rumor. But some people have been saying that some Call of Duty streamers are reportedly under contract to exclusively stream Black Ops 7 for a week. Granted, I want to stress, this is a rumor and we've already gotten some more information about it saying that this may not be the case. But let's go on to read this, find out some more about it, and then give you guys more of the context around this to think that why people may even believe this could have been a thing in the first place. So certain Call of Duty streamers are reportedly under contract to exclusively play the latest entry in the series, Black Ops 7, on stream for a whole week. According to content creator Cloaksy, certain Call of Duty streamers are currently under contract to not play any multiplayer shooters besides Black Ops 7 on stream for an entire week. And this same creator came out and said they were trolling. But like I said, I'm going to give you that context right after we finish reading this, adding more to it. But this is corroborated by known insider Tom Henderson, who mentioned that he came to know about the stipulation a few weeks ago. According to Henderson, back then, some agencies were enforcing a no-compete requirement to creators where they weren't allowed to stream any other game in the same genre during the contract period, which is why people thought this was a real thing in the first place, even if they wanted to play organically. Furthermore, he said that Activision PR directly informed him that this is normal in the industry, even though he had only heard of such requirements in the mobile gaming space. Regardless, he clarified that streamers can opt to negotiate out of no-compete clauses. And he also mentioned that content creators have seen some of the biggest dollar signs ever for sponsorships during the past few months. Recently, it was reported that the launch of Black Ops 7 barely managed to bring the Call of Duty app back in the Steam top 10 most played lists, ranking well below recently released premium titles like Arc Raiders and Battlefield 6. It's some stiff competition this year, man. The game's availability on Xbox Game Pass may have played some role in its lower than expected performance, but it's worth taking into account that the release of Call of Duty Black Ops 6 drove much higher numbers last year on Valve's digital platform, despite it also being available on day one on Microsoft's game subscription service, which itself was significantly cheaper back then than it is today. Oh man. So it's kind of crazy, but let me actually show you guys the tweet Tom Henderson posted to give us some more context to this situation. Because we did get a follow-up on this. We did indeed get a follow-up on this. But I wanted to show you guys the original story and then add on to it. But you want to say that this is interesting? This is from Tom Henderson himself. Pursuing a story 4 or 5 weeks ago, back then, some agencies were enforcing no compete to creators where they couldn't stream any other game in the genre during the contract period. Let me see. Here's the community notes. Cloaksy clarifies that he was trolling, that he doesn't believe those streaming COD were prevented from playing other games. Those comments from Cloaksy were in direct response to comments from Modern Warzone during his stream. But we actually did get another follow-up to that as well. Let me see if I can pull that up for you guys too. Real quick. I hate navigating around this new Twitter app so much. I miss back when it was called Twitter, not X. Back before Elon bought it and then ruined the whole site. I just had to scroll to get to it. Where is it? I swear this is always the hardest thing about doing this live too, is that I have to constantly make sure I bookmark and look at things. That's what I need to do. I need to bookmark things more. Let me just type in Black Ops 7 contract. Where is it? should be coming up right here. Hold on, let me grab this for you guys. I swear I'm not crazy, because I swear I did see this just earlier. Here we go. Here we go. I don't know why that took so long. But yeah, there was an update. This is at least partially false, not exactly accurate, because Matt, aka Nadeshot, streamed a segment of Marvel Rivals on Friday after playing 8 hours of Black Ops 7 with hashtag collab partner. There may be exclusivity clauses, but they aren't what the original clip indicates. And then Nadeshot went on to respond saying that I can play other games, by the way, too. I can go play Arc Raiders right now. It's literally not even accurate, dude. Cloak is a f***ing idiot, bro. Yo, that's crazy. And then somebody said another reason I can't stand streamers frauds. So it looks more akin to like an ad deal, which isn't out of the ordinary for business practices in the streaming space. That's pretty on brand. That's pretty normal. That's pretty regular. But it is interesting that people believed it enough to even think that they were under contract for a whole week, which was why I wanted to bring it up. Especially in this day and age where Battlefield 6 was coming out. I just thought that would be interesting. Because this is I would say Activision is not a company known for its best business practices. So much so that 2 senior developers who've operated on Black Ops 7 have been named in the latest Blizzard sexual harassment scandal. Gotta be taking the page out of the developers of Roblox's books. Because, man, this is crazy. For those who may have forgotten, or for those who memories may not be as good as other people's, because on the internet, as much information as we get in the age of social media where we have so much knowledge at our fingertips, it's very easy to forget things. It's very easy to forget just how long ago something was, or if something didn't happen that long ago. Now, what I'm talking about is the Activision Blizzard scandal where they had to pay out more than $50 million for things like sexual harassment, workplace discrimination, and just treating their coworkers as less than human beings, as just objects. Because keep in mind, this is the whole company that had to deal with things like having a Cosby suite, where they were taking advantage of and assaulting people, doing things like cubicle crawls, where they were crawling underneath people's cubicles, looking underneath their coworkers' skirts, people getting freaky in the bathroom, people doing drugs in the bathroom. Like they were describing this whole entire scandal and scenario as if it was something that you would see in a Wolf of Wall Street movie. And now to know that not only do we have more names coming out about this, but apparently to see that there were 2 senior Black Ops 7 developers, this is crazy. That's why I say you got to start learning the names of these people who are higher up and these people in power. These are the people whose names you got to remember. These are the people whose identities we have to keep in our minds. But Activision Blizzard recently saw widespread criticism over reports of sexual harassment within the company. Earlier this month, Tyler Perez, a senior QA employee, also shared his stories of harassment at the hands of senior leadership at the Lakeline office. Making matters worse, Tyler Perez revealed that he was sexually harassed multiple times during his time at Activision. In a new post on LinkedIn, the developer has now named the 2 senior Activision employees involved in the situation. He went on to say Donnie Laws and Finn Burby were the ones who sexually harassed me in the restroom at Activision Blizzard in the Lakeline office. I cannot keep quiet anymore. I wish I could say it was an enjoyable experience working with sexual harassers in the workplace, but all I got was my name next to them. Yay me. And it even went on to circle the names too. That's unfortunate, man. And the thing I want to say about this is, even if you're someone who doesn't necessarily, what do I want to say? What do I want to say? Even if you're someone who believes in innocent proven guilty, I will at the very least say this is a lot more believable happening at Activision Blizzard than it is at a lot of other studios, because of all the different controversy and because of all the different sexual harassment, lawsuits, claims, rumors, everything else that's been happened and has been confirmed. It's a lot more believable this happened here than it would have been in another studio. So at the very least, I just wanted to cover this and tell you guys more about it so we can get an idea of what's happening behind closed doors at these studios and at some of these companies. But following his post from a few weeks ago, Tyler Perez went public and disclosed the identities of the employees who harassed him at Activision Blizzard. He stated that Donnie Laws and Finn Burby were involved in this situation. And in a follow-up post, Tyler Perez also noted that his workplace experience was anything but enjoyable due to the situation. He pointed out that both Danny Laws and Finn Burby were credited for the contributions to Black Ops 7, with all three sharing developers' names showing up in the Black Ops 7 credits. For context, both Danny Laws and Finn Burby currently serve as project leads at Activision Blizzard. Moreover, they have been part of the company's QA testing department for several years. Tyler Perez's previous post suggested that no major action had been taken against the two, and it seems the same is the case today. Unfortunately, this is far from the first time such a report has shown about Activision Blizzard. The company previously agreed to a $54 million settlement over workplace discrimination and harassment, but it seems many employees remain deeply affected by their experiences at the studio. That's unfortunate, man. And it seems like you still have a lot of people who are there, because once that's ingrained into your workplace's culture, it's very hard to root out everybody like that the first couple of times. That sucks, man. I'm disgusted. But some slightly better news. Speaking of the Call of Duty's competition, other shooters, Battlefield 6 is putting on a week-long free trial to celebrate the latest seasonal content, which brings the war zone to an affluent California neighborhood. So if you're someone who may have wanted to try out Battlefield but wasn't necessarily sure if your game was going to run it, maybe you didn't have the time, maybe you didn't want to have to deal with the whole secure boot situation on PC, or maybe you just didn't want to drop $70 to $80 for it, which is fully understandable. This would be a good time to try it out, because they dropped the Battle Royale, they're having their Season 1 content coming, and Battlefield 6 is still doing really well right now. So it's a great chance to convert your non-Battlefield 6 playing friends if you're someone who also needs a squad to run with. Now, the latest update for Battlefield 6 adds new seasonal content for the main multiplayer and RedSec. And to celebrate all this new content, Battlefield 6 will also be putting on a free-to-play event for a week to show off some specific maps and modes. Later this month, players can jump into Battlefield 6 via a free trial, a press release says. And from November 25th to December 2nd, a free trial experience in Battlefield 6 with select maps and modes will be available. Featuring 5 modes and 3 maps, this is your chance to experience a high-octane multiplayer warfare at Battlefield 6 an entire week for free. Meanwhile, the California Resistance update adds a new Eastwood map to the rotation, alongside a new sabotage mode, and Eastwood is set in an affluent neighborhood with luxury villas and golf courses, except it doesn't quite look as nice as it sounds, as you and 63 other players rip it apart and turn it into a war zone. While the new sabotage mode sounds like it'll be just as hectic as teams are tasked with destroying as many sites as possible before the round ends, sabotage will be available on several maps during its limited time run, including the new Season 1 maps, Eastwood and Blackwell Fields. Then, for RedSec, there will be a new Gauntlet mission. And SIFs, added in Fort Linden to be cracked open. Ooh. Gotta make sure to drink this water while I'm reading this gaming news before my voice gets dry. Then it'll sound like somebody scratching a chalkboard in your guys' ears. But the last notable addition in this update is to Portal, which transforms this toolset into a full-fledged sandbox. DICE means this. Literally, it's a sandbox. Based on the Siege of Cairo environment, this map is a flat desert with no existing structures, which gives creators more freedom than ever to craft and customize experiences in Battlefield 6. I do like this. I really do like that. Because as someone who grew up playing Halo a lot as like my main shooter, because before I ever got into fighting games, for those who don't know, I was really heavily into shooters. I played Quake, Halo, Unreal Tournament. I was in there at Gears. I was in there for Call of Duty. Like, I was there. Granted, some of those games came out before I was born, but I was there. I was out there. So this is great because as someone who grew up playing like different maps on Forge and doing different things like Fat Kid or Duck Hunt, or those maps where you're driving up the side of a mountain or a bunch of different crates as things are falling on you from the sky. Some of those moments you spent playing custom games and custom lobbies in Halo, some of the best times I've ever had in a shooter, because they just gave you so much freedom. Games like Fortnite and Roblox, before those were around, and before people were doing stuff like that, you did it in Halo. You did it in Unreal Tournament. You did it in those other PC games like Gary's Mod, which people still play to this day, where you make your own maps and your own different levels and stuff like that. It's just nice to see that in a modern game and a company letting people use their imaginations to let you play different games and different titles, because this is dope.
J.Deep says protecting my peace is an absolute top priority in my life. Just so happens to be that my piece is that dangling piece swaying around in those pantaloons pulled snugly up to your waist. Oh, what a waist it is, by the way. The perfect hubby handles to pull you about while you're on the receiving end of the ultimate glug glug gawk gawk gurgle gurgle gulping you're always so deserving of. Enjoy streamy handsome fucker lol wink wink.
What's up, Jay? It's the Tony, aren't you streaming? Wait. You're supposed to be making choices. I mean, we're making very hard decisions right now and choosing whether or not to respond to certain things. You're supposed to be busy. You're supposed to be. This is a. I choose to be here. Hey, yo. I like to imagine, like, what do you say when you're live on stream? I'll be like, hold on, Jay about to harass Max. I'll be right back real quick. Matter of fact, everybody come look at this. Somebody come look at this. Just gonna start adding the redeem that goes, leave me alone. And instead of Akira, it's J.Deep redeems playing in my mind. J.Deep says, ah. Oh, yeah, waxy waxy. Ah. What's up, Boom? What's up, Dre? Appreciate y'all popping in for the harassment, for, you know, hanging out, even if it's just a few moments. I really do appreciate it greatly. So thank you all for being here. You know, I'm very happy to have shared this moment with you all. This is what I have to do to stop myself from blushing and turning red, which sometimes I do anyway. So just know it's not a place of hostility. You know, I know it's all coming from love. Judgment is up, brother. You know what's up, brother? Struggle is up, brother. Oppression is up, brother. What do you say? Salami, eggs, and bacon. Oh, man. Mama say mama makusa. All right, let me get back to this gaming news. Appreciate y'all popping in. But following this, the final says, oh my goodness, Jay's just on me off so much. Revolution, right. So following the final phase of season 1 will begin on December 9th with the winter offensive. But we'll have to wait a bit longer to find out more details about what the special theme content it will bring to the game. For those who came into the stream, Boom, Tony, anybody else who's been running Battlefield lately, I think this is important because it's showing you that they're committing to more and more game modes and just different forms of gameplay besides just capture a point, team deathmatch, and so many different other forms. You have a lot of different game modes they're trying to add. They're experimenting, which is important. They're experimenting and trying new things, which is important. And they're giving players the tools to try and make a sandbox. They're giving players a sandbox to make their own things in. That is important. This is what happens when you have good competition, because the last couple Battlefield games were ass. Just like Call of Duty is this year. This is what happens when you have competition, when you have people who vote with their wallets and don't buy the game when it sucks. You get a better product. If you want a company or a corporation to improve their business practices, to make a better product, and to stop doing the same thing, to innovate in some meaningful way, stop buying their shit. It's just that simple. They got to do something. You have to make them work for our money. Make them work for your dollar. Don't give it to them for free. The only reason Apple keeps doing the stupid shit they're doing is because people keep buying it. Was that the end of the article? Yeah, that's the end of the article. I got a few more things for you guys. Speaking of stupid shit. Granted, I don't know if it's been fully confirmed. Take it with a grain of salt. This whole case has been messy, though. So I thought it was worth bringing up. Because we don't know the specifics. Everything's been all over the place. We're getting conflicting reports. But apparently, the Subnautica 2 publisher, keep in mind, this is coming from a company who wants to go full AI. For those who didn't hear me, I said keep in mind, this is coming from a publisher in the gaming industry that wants to become a fully AI company. Crafton, who reportedly asked ChatGPT for help to avoid the $250 million payment, which would have been a bonuses for people working on the game they're publishing. If this is true. But according to a recent pre-trial brief, Subnautica 2 publisher Crafton allegedly utilized ChatGPT when seeking legal ways out of a $250 million earnout to developer Unknown Worlds Entertainment for hitting certain milestones. The Subnautica 2 developers, co-founders Charles Cleveland, Max McGuire, and Ted Gill have been suing Crafton roughly since their terminations in July 2025, so earlier this year. In recent weeks, Crafton has also dedicated itself to being an AI-first company. Oh, God. Following a speech from Crafton CEO Kim Chang-han in October, the company has reportedly moved to buying out current employee contracts to reduce its workforce, as first reported by Business Korea. Now, Business Korea reports that in an internal announcement on November 12th, employees who worked for less than a year could be bought out for 6 months worth of pay. And while employees with 11 or more years of Crafton could collect 3 years worth of salary, all the while, the legal dispute between Unknown Worlds Entertainment and Crafton been developing week by week. As unhappy as I am about the AI thing, I am glad that they are at the very least trying to buy people out and sever them amicably by giving them a few years worth of pay or 6 months worth of pay if they worked for less than a year. It's something. I'd rather they would keep these people employed, but it's something. The bar is in hell. So as first reported by Kotaku, the new filing includes the UEW. I'm sorry, I read that all wrong. The UWE claim that Crafton has asked ChatGPT for ways to avoid paying the aforementioned $250 million earnout. According to the filing, Crafton felt it overpaid for UWE and that Maria Park told Kim it seems highly likely that the earnout will still be paid if the sales goal is achieved, regardless of the dismissal would cause. Now, Kim turned to artificial intelligence to help brainstorm ways to avoid paying the earnout. ChatGPT likewise advised that it would be difficult to cancel the earnout. The Subnautica 2 co-founders also claimed that Crafton would not produce these ChatGPT conversations, saying they no longer existed. Kotaku further reports that Crafton disputes the claim, calling it a distraction from the co-founders' efforts to destroy evidence, namely anything incriminating from their own ChatGPT accounts. Keep in mind, earlier they went from saying Crafton would not produce these conversations, saying they no longer existed, but also went and immediately saying that they're calling it a distraction from the co-founders' efforts to destroy evidence. So it's messy on both sides here. It's like Warhammer. There's no good guys here. Everybody's bad. But Crafton acquired UWE in October 2021 for reportedly $500 million up front, in addition to potentially $250 million for certain sales milestones if they were hit. These sales milestones were related to Subnautica 2's release, but otherwise reports suggested that UWE remained independent under Crafton. And for those who are wondering why I'm saying like both sides may be bad here, is because the whole reason, one of the biggest reasons they're in this lawsuit in the first place is because Crafton said they fired the two founders because they were working on other projects and not accurately developing the game in a timely manner, in a timely fashion. Which is why I say this whole thing is messy, because it's a bunch of he say, she say, they say. We rarely have anything actually fully confirmed here because it's such a messy timeline and because there's not enough evidence on either side to fully say, oh, this happened for sure or this happened for sure. And people keep deleting things and getting rid of stuff. But UWE revealed Subnautica 2's early access release target of 2025 in October 24. Crafton replaced UWE's leadership in late June, early July this year. And shortly after, Crafton delayed Subnautica 2's early access release into 2026. This was reportedly due to several areas needing improvement, according to those who remained at UWE and Crafton. Now, according to Bloomberg, this delay into 2026 meant that the $250 million bonus would not be payable. Cleveland, McGuire, and Gill announced their intention to sue Crafton, filing it shortly after the delay. The trio claimed that Crafton deliberately sabotaged Subnautica 2's development to avoid the earnout, alongside other allegations. But shortly after, Crafton made a public statement that the UWE founders had abandoned the project and lost interest after initial payments to the company, alongside other allegations. In August, Crafton's UWE subsidiary filed its own lawsuit against Cleveland, McGuire, and Gill. Both lawsuits remain pending. Now, it is amid these lawsuits that Crafton has come forward as an AI-first company, reportedly offered these buyouts and allegedly used ChatGPT in an attempt to avoid the $250 million earnout. However, it is worth noting that many key facts related to legal disputes are kept under wraps, and while this is about as public as it comes, it is far from over and far from completely transparent. For many fans, This created a lot of confusion around any reveal for Subnautica 2, especially given how beloved it is. Subnautica 2 still officially has an early access release date of 2026, but it is possible these legal proceedings impact it further. For now, only time will tell what will come from all this. And as someone who liked the first Subnautica game, it really capitalizes on that fear. I believe it's what? The Thalassophobia? Fear of like deep water, the ocean? Let me see. Just to make sure. Yeah, intense and persistent fear of large, deep bodies of water like the oceans and seas. There's some crazy stuff underwater. And what makes the ocean so scary is we don't know everything that's in there. So having a game where you're just by yourself, isolated, there's no other human beings around. It's just you trapped on the planet, exploring underwater, discovering new life, both harmless and not so harmless. It really capitalizes on that fear. It really did something different. It was a nice little indie game. And the fact that the second game was supposed to have multiplayer, or is supposed to have multiplayer, so you can do that with other people and other friends, would have been an instant classic. People love Subnautica 1. And it's just such a shame to see a game like this getting put in development hell because of a lawsuit. For those who don't know, another game this happened to was Friday the 13th, the game. You know, Dead by Daylight's only real competition ever. Yeah, that game got shut down due to a lawsuit happening over the rights. And now Dead by Daylight is the only game flourishing in that genre, unfortunately, for better and for worse. It's just sad to see this happen to a good game, man, or something that could have been a great game. But what else did I have for you guys today? Oh, speaking of games that were in development hell, I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but a game called Hytale has been saved. As a studio, instead of holding on to an IP, sitting on it and doing nothing with it, they apparently sold the canceled game back to its original co-founder, who promised to take it back to the original vision for Hytale. Now, I don't really like Riot Games all too much, but that is a W. That is very nice. That's sick. But Simon Collins LaFlame or LaFlame says he's already rehired more than 30 Hytale developers and more are coming. I do apologize if I butchered that. I took my best hit at it. Actually, let's see how to pronounce it. Right? It's never too late to learn. Where's here? LaFlamme. Okay. LaFlamme. Simon Collins LaFlamme. All right. So he says he's already rehired more than 30 Hytale developers and more are coming. So 5 months after canceling development of Hytale and closing the studio working on it, Riot Games has sold the whole thing back to the original co-founder, Simon Collins LaFlamme. And yes, that means work on the game has resumed. Now, he said more than 30 former developers who know this game inside and out have been brought back to continue development, and more are expected to follow soon. You love to see stuff like this. You love to see games being brought back and games given a second chance, similar to Hi-Fi Rush's studio, Tango Gameworks. After they released Hi-Fi Rush, arguably one of the indie games on the greater side, published by Microsoft. Microsoft ended up shutting the studio down shortly after, and a lot of people ended up leaving the industry entirely. But then Crafton came in shortly after, picked them up, and decided to open the studio again and save that game, which was really dope. But they said, we are thrilled to announce that we have acquired Hytale from Riot Games. And then here's the tweet here. We did it. Hytale is saved. We acquired Hytale from Riot Games. And while it didn't make sense for them to continue developing it in its existing form, they ultimately wanted what's best for players. And for that's for us to eventually play a revised version of the game. We're grateful to Riot Games for making this possible. Now, Riot confirmed the same in its own post on Twitter, saying the sale will give the Hytale community its best shot at experiencing a revised version of the game. After evaluating multiple offers, we reached an agreement to return Hytale to Simon, giving this community its best shot at experiencing a revised version of the game, wishing the team the best of luck for what's ahead. Now, at Riot, our commitment is always to put players first, ensuring the choices we make, even when they're difficult, reflect what we believe will create the most positive outcome for them. While at Riot, the Hytale team made a ton of incredible content, and this means Hytale's journey will continue outside of Riot. We're hopeful this transition provides a way for the community that has been so passionate and patient over the years to experience some of the great work that was done. The Resurrected development team is fully independent and personally committed to funding Hytale for the next 10 years. Love to hear that. And they added that they're going back to the original vision for Hytale. Now, that vision for Hytale has been a point of contention over the years, For those who don't know, Hytale was first revealed in 2018, and then 2 years later, the Hypixel Studios team was acquired by Riot, but a planned early access release in 2021 failed to materialize. Now, further delays followed until the cancellation, and Hypixel co-founder Noxy, who served as studio CEO under Riot, said the delays were in part down to mission creep. Over time, as our vision evolved, the genre matured around us, the bar kept rising. Our technical ambitions grew more complex, and even after a major reboot of the game engine, the team found that Hytale still wasn't as far along as it needed to be. It became clear we need a lot more time to get it to a place where it could support the ambitious vision for the game. For those of you who may be in the background like, what the is Hytale? It's supposed to be a game that was a mixture of Terraria and Minecraft almost, but a lot more mission based, having a lot more structure instead of just throwing you in a sandbox to kind of make your own fun, giving you a narrative to follow, and just having, like they said before, this mission structure to give you something to work towards, something to move forward in. That's me kind of boiling it down and putting it lightly. But there's a lot more. Let's see if we can get some more context. In a post on X, Noxy said that he's extremely grateful that players will get to play Hytale and thanked Collins LaFlamme for bringing it back to life. And then he replied by thanking Noxy for all the work he put into the game over the years and for helping support the deal that brought the project back home today. It's also clear, however, that Noxy won't be one of the rehired developers. Let me see here. Yeah, so here they are. They said extremely grateful that players will get to play Hytale and that it's in the hands of Simon and Philip, who are the original founders of Hypixel and the Minecraft server. Gratitude to Riot as well for finding a way to make this happen for the community. It's unconventional and it worked. Most importantly, Simon has hired much of the original and former team, and I know firsthand how amazing and talented those people are, as well as how much they care about Hytale and the players. They care so much that even when the game had no future, they banded together and crafted a path forward. The original engine was a blast to work on and has been some truly exciting stuff, and while I know the journey ahead will be hard, I believe in them. I wish them the best of luck and the best wishes to all Hytale and the Hypixel community. Noxy signing out. So that's sick. And then Simon went on to say, thanks for everything you put into Hytale at the start. Thanks for helping support the deal that brought the project back home today. All the original team we built together is still with us. Wishing you the best in whatever you take on next. Now, a few ideas for how to save Hytale are flung around shortly after it was canceled. Some people hope Stardew Valley creator Eric Barone would step in, and Nego Studios entertained the possibility of using the property for a new vintage story game mode. But it was Collins who really came out swinging, saying a week after it was canceled that he believes in Hytale so much he put down $25 million of his own money. Oh man, yo. Presumably earned by selling Hytale to Riot in the first place to finish it. He also committed to reaching out to Riot as a possible sale, and here we are. How many times do you hear a CEO or someone in charge of a studio saying, I'll put my own money up for this? He believes in the vision that much, because he could have easily gone back to Kickstarter or something like that and be like, can you guys fund this this $20 million project, this $25 million project? Took the money and ran. This is really nice. We don't get this a lot. This is why it's so important knowing who the developers working on the project are, knowing who's in charge, and being aware of the type of people behind the screen, because these are people. Like I said before, a lot of the times we forget game developers are human beings. In this culture of hyper consumerism, extreme consumerism, where we just want our products at our earliest convenience when we want them, completely forgetting that other people are working on these things. Other people have families, other people have responsibilities, other people need sleep. Which is why crunching culture is such a bad thing, because people, like, for example, people working on The Last of Us 2, they were working on that game so long, people were not able to see their families over weeks and months. And that stuff takes a toll on you. People were working so hard that they would have to periodically close themselves off in their own rooms and start crying because of how hard they were working on the game. So to see a developer coming out and putting out granted, it came from a deal, but granted, coming out and putting up this money, which not a lot of other developers and not a lot of other CEOs would do, to come out and say this, that's dope. That's a good sign. Because another developer who did this, I don't know if you guys are familiar with a fighting game called Pocket Bravery. This is just me doing a quick segue. Just to give you an idea of another developer who's done something like this. Great little indie fun fighting game. The people who worked on this team, the people who worked on this game had to put in a lot of work and effort to actually get this game out. And one of the developers in charge who was funding the project actually had to sell his car to get this game out the door. This game is fire. It had some issues when it came out, but they're still working on this game to this day. And I say all this to say, as many people as we see go in and out of the games industry, as many people as we're seeing get laid off, fired, who are getting burnt out, you can replace people, but you cannot replace passion. And that's important for games like these. That's the biggest separation between big AAA games compared to AA and indie games. It's the passion. It's the people who want to make this game because they have a great idea, they have a vision, and they need to see it. They don't just want to see it, they need to see it. They need to make that happen. But how much he actually forked over to take back Hytale wasn't revealed, and Colin Zafam isn't alone in the adventure. The acquisition announcement names fellow Hypixel co-founder. Oh my god, these names. I really don't want to butcher them. I'm gonna say Philip Tuchetti or Touchette. Let's see. Like I said, we're learning. You're never too old to learn. You stop learning, you stop growing. How's this pronounced? I'm sorry. How do you say it? Okay, Tuchetta. Okay. Now we know. Philip Tuchetta. As co-funding the project, Tuchetta is also overseeing the financial responsibility and helping structure finances for the acquisition. Further good news for fans is that they should have their hands on it relatively soon. However, Hytale in its current state is messy, janky, and all that, and there's a lot of work to be done. Still, the plan is to release it as soon as possible, presumably be in some early access form, and take it from there. It won't be perfect on day one. My hope is that together we'll shape it into something truly special. We love to hear that. Let's see. I think I have 2 more articles for you guys, and then we'll actually get into gaming today. Finishing Ghost of Yotei. But speaking of Ghost of Yotei, Ghost of Yotei is having a new major update and has some major content coming. Sucker Punch previews an upcoming patch for Ghost of Yotei, adding new content to the game, including the highly anticipated new Game Plus mode. The hit game continues to evolve and grow similar to its predecessor, with Ghost of Yotei's biggest jump set to happen sometime in 2026. I believe that's also when the multiplayer is dropping as well. After its release in early October, Ghost of Yotei has been a success for Sony and Sucker Punch. The game hasn't changed at all that much since launch, getting a few updates here and there to fix remaining issues and bugs, but with the development team now stabilizing the experience, work has seemingly begun in the first phases of post-launch content. In fact, fans won't have to wait too long to see some of the new content and features that were added to Ghost of Yotei. Oh, they dropped the trailer for the new Game Plus? Let me actually watch this on YouTube. Some video players on these websites are not the best and are not flattering. Let me make sure everybody on the YouTube side of things can hear it too. Just so you guys aren't left out. New Game Plus trailer. Oh my god, I forgot how loud that was. I'm sorry. All right, let's take a look. So this footage is captured on the PS5 Pro, by the way. Apparently.
There's the face I remember.
Oh, that's cool.
It didn't have to be like this.
We got harder difficulties?
Make it worth my while.
Okay, new drip. We like that. Revenge is temporary, but drip is forever. Photo mode enhancements, okay. Great for thumbnails. Oops. So how you guys feeling about that? I think that's really cool. I think that's dope. Always love to see a game getting supported. Always love to see a game getting more and more content added to it afterwards as well. That's sick. That's sick. But that's all dropping on November 24th. I've been playing Ghost of Yotei. I've been having a great time with it. We're actually going to be beating that today, hopefully. And then playing something different Friday. But a new blog post, Sucker Punch's senior communications manager Andrew Goldfarb revealed that a new update for the Ghost of Yotei is on the way. On November 24th, players will be able to download the latest patch, which finally includes New Game Plus, similar to New Game Plus and other popular games. Ghost of Yotei unlocks this option once the main campaign has been completed, adds 2 new difficulty options and 2 new additional trophies to unlock while letting players keep their existing gear. I wonder how they're going to balance those 2 new difficulty options. Because lethal mode, you're already dying like 1 or 2 hits. So you're going to get new abilities, and I know you'll get different equipment and different cosmetics, but I'm wondering how they're going to balance that damage you receive. But for opting into another playthrough, there are a few rewards as well. A new currency called Ghost Flowers can be exchanged at a special vendor to unlock 10 brand new charms and over 30 bonus cosmetics, including dyes and armor sets to complement the already extensive gear in Ghost of Yotei. Now, in addition, a new tier upgrades for the existing armor sets and weapons will be unlocked, letting players get even stronger. On top of New Game Plus, the update also adds a variety of features, including a stat screen and the ability to replay content when in the post-game. Ghost of Yotei's photo mode gets new settings to play with, including shutter speed, composition grid, and additional filters. Finally, more accessibility options are being added, such as being able to remap the directional buttons. Cool. The post ends with another tease for 2026, with Ghost of Yotei adding its Legends multiplayer mode. No additional details were provided, unfortunately, but players already have a general idea of what to expect with it. The fan favorite mode is coming back as a free update, adding 2 co-op missions and 4 survival style ones, where players will be taking on demonic versions of the Yotei 6. As expected, players will have multiple classes to pick from these missions, though details about who or what these are have not been revealed quite yet. Yeah, so somebody in the chat, y'all gotta hit me up in like 2026, because I need to run this with some people. Like, Jay, when you pick up Ghost of Yotei, we definitely gotta run this together, man. Boom, like we gotta run this. We gotta run this, bro. Tony, we gotta run this. We gotta run this. Okay, what else do I have for you guys? So I did say I have one more article. I do. That being Where Winds Meet. Just something simple, as apparently the new Chinese action RPG Where Winds Meet has reached 2 million players in just 24 hours of its global release. And they went on to say that we're thrilled to see such a positive reception. Now, Where Winds Meet has seen 2 million players jump into the wuxia fantasy in the first 24 hours of its global launch. News here was shared by developer Everstone Studio and publisher NetEase Games following the Chinese action RPG's release earlier this week. On Steam, the game has peak concurrent player count of almost 194,000. For comparison with other recent releases, this is far behind the all-time peaks of Arc Raiders and Battlefield 6, but remains incredibly impressive for a game of this genre. And this is the trailer for those who haven't seen it. Because we'll argue, this is a new IP just kind of coming out of nowhere, and those are 2 big giant shooters. Granted, Arc Raiders is a new IP, but I'm pretty sure y'all get what I mean.
I don't. Do you know the road up ahead? Who are you? Same as you. A wanderer.
A guest in dreams. Yet unaware.
Game looks gorgeous at the very least.
This time, I'll be the villain.
But I have been on this path Too long now. The street was filled with ghosts.
Without a single coin, you call yourself the god of treasure?
I'll give you one more chance. Go on. Kill me.
Man, just getting the soul sucked out of him.
Hold up.
If I don't go back, what'll happen to the others?
Mere Anne.
There's a lot happening here.
Seemly struggle. You've got a sword, right? So why couldn't you save her?
Hey, this game is out now. If you guys do want to try it, it is free to play. So it doesn't cost you anything but a little bit of your time. Kind of crazy, but that's going to be all our gaming news for the day. I hope you guys came away from that a little more informed, a little more knowledgeable in the gaming space before we get into this Ghost of Yotei. I really do enjoy covering these different gaming news segments. So if you're someone who's trying to stay in the know, like let's say you work full time or you have a bunch of different responsibilities, don't feel bad about coming by the stream sometime. Just because if you guys are looking for gaming news, I'm dropping it every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if you're someone who's trying to stay informed but don't have the time to read all these different articles, I also will be dropping them in video form too. I think I just dropped one yesterday, and I dropped the video today about mental health when it comes to being a content creator and stuff like that. So I'm trying to keep everybody informed either on stream live or through YouTube. So if you're someone who's trying to stay knowledgeable, hey, check your boy out. That all being said, we're going to get into this Ghost of Yotei, fight this boss, and hopefully beat him the first couple of tries. I'm not trying to spend 2 hours trying to beat this man. Let me set up a few things. When did some grinding off stream too, because I realized I was horribly underpowered for the fight. I only had 2 of the hot springs. I think I only did 2 bamboo stands, and I'm playing on lethal, and I somehow made it all the way to the end. My armor wasn't even fully upgraded, and neither were my weapons. Let's see. Need to open the control panel. Okay, I don't know why it does that. There we go. Let me actually change categories too. Yo, Bishop, what's up? What's up? What's up? You just missed the last of the gaming news segment. I've been trying to keep everybody informed about what's going on and what's happening. Told your first 2 websites this week. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get it. Love that for you. That's what's up. We love to hear that. Love to hear that. I hope everything else has been going great for you too. Really appreciate seeing you today. Oh wait, I can camp here? That's crazy. I didn't think they would let me do that.
What? Any chance you're looking for some quality goods?
Take a seat.
Nice. So you're thinking about going into tech or something like that? Because you said you turning 21 and you finally know what kind of career you want? You're way ahead of other people too. If you already know what you want to do. Love that for you. Funnily enough, I think I pivoted career-wise probably about I want to say like 8 months ago. And I'm 28 now. That's what's up. Just for anybody else who may be wondering if it's too late to switch careers or everything, it's not. UX, UI design, graphic design, 3D modeling, animation, and photography. Definitely a field that you can get reward for expressing yourself. That's dope. Love that for you.
Stay alive, friend. If you don't, I'm selling your things.
I was telling people in a video I uploaded, Bishop, earlier today, that having that form of self-expression, having that form of creativity it means a lot. Being able to create something and put it out there, it takes a lot to be able to do stuff like that. Also means you can finally tie your hands. Yeah. I thought about doing the same, but any tattoo I get on my body has to mean something deeply to me. Like I don't want to be one of those people, and this is no offense to anybody who is like that, but I never want to be the person who just gets something because it looks cool. It has to mean something to me or impact me in some way because I'm getting it on my skin forever. So I don't want to randomly change my mind one day. It takes me a lot of thought.
Killing my family. Was it worth it?
We're fighting the final boss. We're fighting the final boss. Got a bird you didn't even know the name of last week.
Creatures such as
Oh wow.
cannot resist the call of revenge.
It's a nice bird though. Okay, okay.
I found something new to live for.
This is an important moment.
You think you've changed, but you're still an Onryo.
Oh. Actually messed up the dodge.
You could have lived a peaceful life. You chose to be a hunter.
Oh, he switched. Oh god.
You took my sons.
The spider led me to your fortress.
Oh my god, he shot me. He did not like that. I have to keep attacking a little quicker than that. Oh, I was hoping I timed to dodge right. Did not do that.
Stop holding back. Draw your katana.
Okay. Okay. Locking in.
You are ready.
Sorry if I'm not talking as much. I have to like make sure I'm dialed in when fighting this man. I really meant it when I said I don't want to be here all day fighting him again. I was almost late for work the last time.
You've waited 16 years for this, Onyo! Don't falter now!
I think he does a disarm attack, right? Okay, yeah, so there's nothing cinematically we can just do about that. He just automatically does it.
Juve.
Oyuki is with Kiko. I will hold him off. We will protect this family.
So, the boy has become a man.
I am a samurai, a brother, and a father.
He's completely ignoring Jubei. That's kind of crazy. Bro, just kind of walking awkwardly, waiting for somebody to do something, but nobody's doing anything. Yeah, I'll sit here. I'll sit here. You know, the moment I swing, he's gonna kill me. Do something. This has the same energy of a bunch of dudes standing around in the middle of a fight saying swing first because nobody wants to go to jail. He's really gonna make me wait. I guess.
Your loyalty to each other only gives you something to lose. Atsu!
Jubei.
For the living.
Oh god, here comes this. Oh, whoops.
You are not alone, Atsu.
Oh, that's so crazy to me. You can't dodge roll that. You have to parry it. You have to parry it. Okay. Right. Should have shot him. Whoa, he just chose not to get stabbed? We can do that? Show me the way.
Atsu. Rage wins the battle, but loses the war.
Okay. I got a little too greedy there. I'm getting more bullets as we fight, I think. I was holding block instead of parrying. He's doing strings.
You are not alone, but
Oh, how'd I miss it? How'd I miss it? I got a little too comfortable. We're close though. We could definitely beat him in the next couple tries. Oof. I have to remember all his patterns too. Ooh. I parry some of these perfectly, and then I have to relearn the timing on them. Okay, here we go again. You have to block all of these. Oh, I thought that was gonna hit him. I keep forgetting this man's Deadpool. He can deflect bullets with his katana.
Rage wins the battle, but loses the war.
fight for the living.
Nice.
Come, little wolf.
Atsu.
I knew somebody was gonna die.
She'll never be alone.
Oh my goodness. I was afraid of this happening.
I'm here.
Oh man. I really love that. That was well done. That was well done. And that transition from her like hugging the crying girl, being her inner child, and then turning around and it being her niece.
Atsu, we're supposed to stay inside of the house. I don't even like mushrooms.
Aunt Atsu, I found more mushrooms.
Good. Show me.
They were hiding by the logs, like you taught me.
Your father and I used to forage here. We don't have to talk about him.
I want to. It's just...
I know.
She lost her brother twice. That's gotta suck, man.
There. More mushrooms than we could eat.
This should get us through the winter.
It's just unfortunate, man.
Something's bothering you.
It's the Matsumai. I heard they're rebuilding the castle.
They have the time. Now that Saito is no longer a threat.
People still leave offerings for the Onryo. They hope you'll hunt down what's left of Clan Saito.
I dealt with the Yotei 6. The samurai can handle the rest.
I wonder what became of my father's estate.
We could return in spring, if you miss it.
This is my home now. There's something I want to show you.
The snow will start soon.
We will be quick.
Is this where you've been sneaking off to?
You noticed. I found some seeds. I didn't think anything would grow, but they took to the soil.
Flowers?
They won't survive the winter.
These look like kiku flowers. They were your father's favorite.
That's why he named her Kiku. That's funny.
He wrote some terrible poetry about them.
He used to bring me one whenever he returned from a long trip. Sometimes I think I can almost see him in the corner of my eye.
Oh, that's so sad.
But when I look,
Oh.
not there.
Your grandmother taught me that music can speak to the family we've lost.
You think Father can hear me play?
I do. Why don't we take this flower to Jubei?
He'd like that.
Sorry, I just gotta screenshot this because the scenery is so beautiful. I am that person who will just sit back to admire a landscape or a certain scene in the game. Oh, this is gorgeous. This is just gorgeous.
Is that Lady Oyuki?
Go on. You both can play a song for Jubei. I'll join you soon. Kiku's becoming quite the musician. He'd be so proud.
I hear a wolf. Wait.
My hunt is over.
Nice. I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy the game. I really had fun playing through it. All right, now give us another Sly Cooper, another Infamous game, please. Let me stop. Yeah, I don't want to make you guys sit through all the credits. I'm sorry.
That is how I laid the Onryo to rest. Now you know my story, Kiku. Our story.
Are you sure you're not leaving anything out?
Maybe one or two things. Before confronting Saito, I needed to weaken his hold on Ezo.
So you could rescue Father and Oyuki.
And give you a home where you could grow up in peace.
I want to hear those stories.
How about... one of my toughest bounties?
With a big reward.
The day started like any other.
Oh, this is cool.
My back and mystery before me.
So we literally get to pick what we do next. That's dope. I see the standoff button. I pull up. We never duck a fade around here. That just sounds like it hurts. That's gotta hurt. What happens if we follow the wolf? Where will it go? Oh? The world is back to how it was just before Atsu defeated Lord Saito. All content is available by exploring Azo. Oh. So this is an interesting way of actually doing this. I haven't seen a game like do this before, personally.
Go, Mochizuki.
Is it just following us? Oh no, she's gone. She just disappeared the moment I took my eyes off her. I guess we're gonna go and try and attack this bear man.
That's right.
What is? I'm just kind of going around doing stuff now. Who's this?
You there! Help me keep him steady. May you make it safely to Kamui Moshiri. I appreciate your
I
help.
was gonna say this must be one of the Ainu.
I've seen many hunting traps over the years. None like that.
My grandfather taught me. Tie a string to a small bow, and when the deer pulls...
Easy to hide, too. I might have to try it sometime.
The trap is spent, but you can have it if you'd like. Learn how to make one yourself someday.
I'll put it to good use. Thank you.
You did this animal a kindness. That is a rare thing these days. Find me at Hushko-Kotan if you want to share hunting stories.
Nice. We're telling people it's just that easy to get sidetracked into something in this game. Especially now that I've beaten it. I think we'll do a couple bounties and then probably just call it there, and then we'll pick things up Friday. What is that? I'd imagine that dead person is probably his doing. A man bear? Or a bear man, they're calling him. We're getting closer and closer to having man, bear, pig in another video game.
Leaves in his clothes. He must have crawled here. There's a blood trail leading into the woods.
Okay, so let's follow the blood. Another dead body. Definitely say we're going the right way.
Mauled. This bear man Chikatoshi is living up to his name. The blood leads deeper into the woods.
Let's pull out a gun. Just in case he has a bear with him. Because we're gonna need it.
Those wounds look fresh. Are those claw marks? What happened here?
I knew it!
Where did she come from?
What have you done? You pay for this!
Bearman Chikatoshi. Your beast attacked me!
I'll finish the job!
Hey, yo, everybody can just deflect bullets? What's happening? That was wild.
He used a bear to do his dirty work. I'm sorry it had to end this way.
Every time. It was either a man wearing some fur that made him look like a bear or a man and a bear. But he wasn't stealthy at all, so I wasn't gonna assume he was actually using the suit. I knew it had to be a bear, which is why I pulled out the musket. That's wild, though. I should probably go to this homestead and finally free it. I hear music.
That's it.
What's happening over here? I'll come back to him sometime. That's what I mean when I say it's so easy to get distracted. I just can't stop going places and trying out things.
Anyone who puts a stop to this woman will be rewarded generously.
Right, they did say this before he died.
Can't be! It's her!
Straight through her heart! Point!
What armor am I wearing? I must be wearing the Oreo stuff. Gotta be, right? There we go. Oh, we're right here. This is, I think, the area we needed to liberate, actually.
Come.
Not what I wanted to do.
Looks like Saito's men have taken over this homestead. There might be hostages.
I feel a little bad about that one. I'm not gonna lie to you. I do feel a little bit bad about that one. But I have a strict no snitching rule when it comes to playing stealth games.
Where is our mall?
I want it fair and square.
You cheated us. Where are you hiding it?
Maybe I spent it all.
Fire!
Doo-doo-doo. Something else is in here too, but I'm not gonna look for it right now. We're just gonna wait for him to turn around and stab him in the neck. I got a little too impatient, a little too greedy.
Something there? You don't.
Oh! He did just enough to take my streak.
I bet it took an army to defeat the dragon.
It didn't. Actually, I think it did. I think it did. Technically. Whoops. Oh, that's a bigger guy. I thought he was smaller. Oops. It's gotta be scary to be full of a camp of a bunch of different people and to see people are slowly dropping dead. That's crazy. Wait, did he have any loot on him? He did. Oops.
I hear you killed the dragon.
I did.
Something lied.
Almost forgot I'm not wearing the right gear. Whose dog is that? Because clearly it's not a wolf barking. I'm sorry.
I have someone captive. Time to get her out of here.
These dogs need to pay for what they've done.
You're free to go.
Not till they're dead. Back at the inn, I want some money from them. They'll just keep coming for it.
Then let's make sure they don't.
The gambler's on the run. Get her.
You know, that's crazy. don't want to deal with the sword and shield.
How can it be?
That's gotta suck. The music hasn't stopped, so there's gotta be somebody else running up on me, right? Yes, no, maybe so. Oh, where did the hostage go? If you're someone who's negotiating for a hostage, do not send me. I guarantee you, everybody holding the hostage will be dead, and probably the hostage too. Yeah, she's over here fighting for her life by herself. Oh, dang, wait, she got it. I thought she was just somebody who gambled. Now she got hands for real.
Should be safe now. You have somewhere safe to go?
An inn nearby. Thank you for doing this. You risked your life for me.
The fewer of Saito's men in the north, the better.
I know the innkeeper would agree. Swing by and I'm sure you'll be rewarded.
Very nice,
Before
very
I
nice.
go, I snatched this off the guard when he wasn't looking. It's no use to me.
Let's see here. I guess we could do the block projectiles one. It'd be nice to block arrows and kunai. Granted, we don't really need it. I just wanted it, kind of. All right, let's see what this thing is leading me towards, man.
Another Ainu item left behind.
Looks like I have you to thank for keeping me in business today.
Find anything good?
See for yourself.
I wonder if he'll like still be in business by the time the war is actually over. Oh, whoops, we don't need this anymore. Oh, that's another empty jar. Yeah, kind of. Hold on. Yeah, I think we're gonna call it here, honestly. Let me just make sure I save the game in case I want to come back for anything. But yeah, we're gonna be ending a little early here. We're just gonna be... Oops, hold on. If I can actually turn off the system here. We finally beat the game. We finally beat Ghost of Yotei, so I'm very excited about that. I don't know entirely what we'll be playing next besides Ninja Gaiden. When that'll be, I'll let you guys know ahead of time, or at least I'll try to. But you guys more than likely see when I'm actually live, of course. That all being said, everybody who took the time to be here, I really can't thank you enough. It really does mean a lot. I'll be trying to post that gaming news video. What's today? Wednesday? I'll try and get it out no later than Friday. We'll see though. I'm trying to have it to where I can get it to so that if I'm recording the gaming news, I'll start editing it the day of. And if I can get it done that day, I'll post it the next day. But you know, I do have a full-time job. I do have other things outside of streaming that I like to do. I have a life outside of this, so that'll vary. Some days I'll probably get things out earlier. Some days probably be a little later. I'm not trying to have myself waking up in cold sweats, trying to be like, oh boy, I gotta post this video at 3 a.m. Like, no. Like, I love hanging out with you guys, love spending time with y'all, but I'm not trying to have it to where I'm sweating about putting a video out when I have a full-time job and other responsibilities. So, worst comes to worst, it'll get posted when Like I said, I try to keep it within a day or two of the last stream. If not, you know, I'll try my best. That all being said, though, again, thank you guys for hanging out, coming through, and spending this time with me. I really appreciate that. It really does mean a lot. Because, like I said before, we have things that we do outside of the stream and stuff, and not everybody has that much free time. So the fact that you guys chose to spend it here means a lot. I can't thank you enough. That all being said, let me see who we're going to be rating, because I would like to pass on that same type of positivity to somebody else who may also be live. Apparently you can do raids on YouTube. I'm not entirely sure how that works or how fleshed out it is. So I'm going to be looking more into that when I do get a chance. I believe we're going to just be rating into Tony. I think he's still playing Dispatch. So if you guys can show him some love, would highly, highly appreciate that. He's currently going through the game and having a great time with it. But that being said, I'll see you guys Friday. We'll probably be playing Tekken or something of the sort, because I want to play more fighting games. I want to play more Tekken. So we'll probably be playing something like that. But I'll let you guys know the day of what we'll be playing for sure. That all being said, hope you guys have a wonderful day and a night. You're all wonderful people. Hope you guys are checking in on your friends. Hope your friends are checking in on you. Tell your family members, the people you care about, you love them. And try to help somebody smile. Well, I'll see you guys Friday.